Hey everybody, Jeff Schneider here, and today we're going to tackle a chord that gave me a lot of trouble when I was growing up learning how to solo, and that chord is the diminished 7 chord, specifically on a jazz blues where it would come up a lot, like on this F blues for instance. You see right in here, we have that B diminished 7 chord. Sharp 4 is B natural, and the circle there is diminished. And of course, the 7 is 7. So today I'm going to give you some surefire ways to tackle this chord and sound good no matter what your level is. We're going to start by learning a very simple pattern you can play on this diminished 7 chord. But in order to do so well, we first have to just quickly go over the notes within the chord. So it's going to be B, D, F, and A flat. But I don't want you to just arpeggiate it going up from the root to the 7. We're also going to do all of the different inversions of this arpeggio. And this is going to give you flexibility. It's going to get you out of that box of only being able to play an arpeggio or a lick that starts on the root. You don't want to be stuck there. All you have to do is take the B, the bottom note, and put it on the top of the arpeggio. So now we're starting on D, and we have this new arpeggio. Same notes, different order, D, F, A flat, B. Let's do the same thing. Take the D and put it on top, starting on the F now, and that's going to sound like this. And then we can do it again. Put the F on top, A flat, B, D, F, and then finally the last one is right where we started. We have A flat on top, and this is B, D, F, A flat. So we have. And I'd also recommend practicing going down, so reversing the arpeggio from high to low. Instead of going up, come down from that A flat, and then go to, with that F on top, D on top, B on top. So now let's try to take that arpeggio, take that pattern, and put it into an actual solo. What we're going to do is start right on this B flat 7, just to save some time, and go right into the B diminished 7. And when we get to the B diminished 7, we're going to play that arpeggio we just learned. But here's the thing, whatever you play in the B flat 7, this is the most important thing you have to remember. Whatever you play in the B flat 7, you have to remember the rhythm. So for instance, if we play something like this, you have to remember ba, 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 da, ba. I'll tell you why in a second. Let's do another example though. How about something simple like just arpeggiating up the 1, the 3, the 5. That's B flat, D, F. That's 1, 3, 5 of that B flat 7. And the rhythm I played was ba, ba, ba. Quarter notes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's keep going with that actually because it's so simple. It'll be a good way to illustrate this technique. So we're going to use B flat, D, F, all quarter notes on B flat 7 chord. And then after we play that, we're going to go right into our B diminished 7 arpeggio right here. And that's going to be enough to get us through the B diminished 7 measure because I just played 8 eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's going to get us into F7. That's sort of our landing point. We're landing on the F7. That's where the harmony resolves. So if I play the chords, it sounds like this. You can hear how it resolves into that F7 chord. So we have. Now here's the thing, coming out of that arpeggio, you want to make sure you resolve into whatever comes next. Just like you can hear the resolution harmonically, we want to resolve melodically. So where does that note that we left off on want to resolve to? If we play, that sounds like the note it wants to resolve to. Just like if I play, that note wants to resolve up to F. So we have, so now we're on a C on the F7 chord. And now here's why I said it's important to remember the rhythm that you played in the B flat 7 measure because we're going to do a callback. We're going to repeat that rhythm. It was 3 quarter notes. Now, it doesn't actually matter what notes you play over this F7 chord as long as you play 3 quarter notes. So let's just do, we'll go up an F major arpeggio. Putting it all together, you'll hear how starting and ending with the same rhythm gives this whole idea, this whole line or series of lines, bookends. It kind of wraps it up. I actually call this lick wrapping. If this is the lick, that B diminished 7 lick, if that's the lick, we want to introduce it and end it with 2 related lines. Check it out. A 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear how the beginning and the end have this direct relationship because the rhythm is the same. I'll change the notes over that F7 chord at the end there, but keep the rhythm. Let's do this instead. And we're starting on the C still because we have that resolution that we want to maintain. So we're still on that C, but now let's just do, let's go down an F major arpeggio. Check it out. Now that version I didn't like as much. It still works, but I don't like that F coming up twice like that. So what I mean is I played B flat D F, then the lick, and then C A F. It's kind of like if you're writing a poem and instead of rhyming spot with caught or spot with not, you just rhyme spot with spot using the same word to make the rhyme. It's too repetitive. Repetition is good, but too much of a good thing is boring. So instead, let's just change the note to, let's just go back to the C and hear how that sounds. Not bad. I like that one better. Now let's make it a little fancier with just a subtle adjustment. And to do that, we're going to add 1 note to our lick. Instead of coming right on the downbeat, we're going to do a pickup. We're going to start a half step below the note that begins this arpeggio. The note that begins the arpeggio is B. So I'm going to start a half step below that B, a B flat or an A sharp. And we're going to start on the and of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So instead of it sounding like this, it's going to go like this. A 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can still resolve up to that C. Adding that pickup note kind of smooths out the edges. It's not as cookie cutter starting on beat 1 every time we come around to that B diminished 7 chord. So let's keep all the same material that we had before, but add in that approach note, that pickup note. A 1, 2, 3, 4. I like it. It's a subtle adjustment, but it adds that more professional, mature sound. It's not as elementary. Starting on 1 every single measure is going to get old real fast. So we can smooth it out by adding that pickup note. Let's do another example. This time when we get to the B diminished 7 chord, we're going to go down instead of up the arpeggio. Or we can start on any note actually. We could start on the D if we wanted to. Let's determine our starting note for that arpeggio based on what we play during the B flat 7 chord. So we have B flat 7, and we can play, I don't know, maybe, that's a cool line. Remember, we have to keep in mind that rhythm, ba-ba-doo-ba. We're going to bring that back after we play whatever happens during that diminished 7 chord. So we have this, and then the arpeggio, we're going to go down. And where does the B want to resolve to? That's a big part of improvising over these diminished 7 chords. You have to know how to resolve the line. We're going to resolve up this time. It's actually what we did before, but now we're coming at it from above instead of below. So we have, putting it all together, And then we have to use that same rhythm, ba ba do bop, over that F7. So maybe, or, that's actually nice. Let's do that. Putting it all together. Beautiful. I love the relationship there between the first and the last line. The diminished chord is solid. I'm really just playing chord tones, but the important thing is that I'm resolving into the F7 in a melodic voice leading style. And let's put that approach note in like we did before, that pickup into the arpeggio. That sounds great. Remember, it's just a half step below whatever note you were starting on. So we were starting on a B. We're going to start on A sharp or B flat. Let's hear what it sounds like with a backing track. That same line. One more time, I'll do it up the octave. Here we go. Beautiful. So as for next steps, I would say learn some different patterns or licks that you can play over the diminished 7 chord. There are many patterns out there. I have a whole bunch in my Licks for Days pack, which you can check out, linked in the description below. But let me share with you a couple just to get you started. We already talked about arpeggiating like that and going down. But you can also take that arpeggio and break it up a little bit. So instead of just going up and down sequentially, let's start on the B, and we're actually gonna go down to the F. So we're gonna skip over the A flat, and we went down to F, and then we're gonna go up. Hit the A flat here, back to the B, and then we start the pattern again, but on D. So it sounds like this. So it's a D. You're gonna skip over the neighboring chord tone below, which is B. So we're gonna skip over that B and go to A flat, and then just come up from the A flat. Hit all of them, A flat, B, D, until you get to the next starting point, which is F. This is a really simple pattern, but it sounds great. Now remember, you still have to resolve the line in a musical way. So if we're resolving into this F7, and I play that line that I just played, the D can resolve, well, what's nearby? We could resolve up to the E flat, which is the flat 7 of F7. Or we could resolve to the C, which is the 5 of F7. Either of those will work. You're basically looking for a chord tone that's nearby where you're leaving off from. Let's do that and try it out with a greater line. So we'll start on the B flat 7. Maybe we'll play something in that lower register, something simple, maybe a classic lick. The David Baker bebop lick. And then we'll go into our arpeggio. And we have to use the same rhythm, so ba ba da ba da ba. That's what we started with. Cool. That's a fancy-ish lick on F7, starting on that E flat, which is where we left off, resolves up, and I do an enclosure on the C, which is the 5 of F7. Real quick, that's E flat, D, D flat, B, and then C to A. So we're enclosing, we're targeting the C, and we're enclosing it with this D flat and B. C is the note in between D flat and B. So you can hear that tension and release. It's the same principle as that melodic voice leading thing I was talking about before. So altogether it's And the A at the end there is just a chord tone of F7. It's the third of F7. So the whole thing here sounds like this, if I can remember what I played. Oh yeah, the David Baker bebop lick. Cool. And of course we can add that pickup note to the B diminished arpeggio. Instead of just coming in on the downbeat, we can start it a half step below, like that. So that sounds like this. There's a lot of notes in there, but if you understand how to break it down and put the pieces together, you actually won't get too overwhelmed, because you see we have just one lick here. You've got that David Baker bebop lick. Then you have the arpeggio. And then we resolved up to the E flat. This is on the F7 chord now. And if you want, you can add that approach note right in here, that B flat. Sounds like this one more time. I'll play it with the backing track actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, an octave up. So I hope you guys got something out of this. If you want to check out Licks for Days, which I mentioned has a lot of diminished patterns and licks that you can use in your solos, you can check it out, linked below. Also, I have my summer sale going on right now, so you can save 25% on all of my courses, all of my lick packs and everything in between. Check that out, linked below, and just make sure to use the code SUMMER25 at checkout to save 25% on everything, including the bundles. But we'll leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to check out another video, you can click right over here, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.